Here, everyone will be doing the first scouting report of the most relevant prospects that will be coming in into this NBA draft of 2020, which will be held, as you all know, on November 18, which will be next week. All right. So we will begin with the most polarizing prospect of this draft, which is LaMelo Ball, a very mediatic player, not because of his own fault, but basically just because his surrounding has been like that. So in terms of just LaMelo Ball, a scouting report for him as a basketball player, which do you think first are his strengths?
Well, the first strength that I have listed on my list is his scoring ability. He has a very good three-point shot. He's pretty good with layups also. He has a really good range. He can finish with both hands also, and he can create his own shots too, and that's very important on today's NBA.
Yeah.
He also has very good ball handling. He's very talented with the ball on his hands. He Also he has a really good passing ability, just like his brother Alonso. He's a good passer. He can read defense. He has high basketball IQ. On the other hand, I think he's one of the most NBA ready prospects because in terms of getting used to the NBA lifestyles and trips, Lamelo lived and played in Lithuania and Australia, so it won't take too much time for him to get used to the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He also has good size. He's 6'8", and he has long arms. And on the other hand, and the last strength that I have listed on my list for him is his confidence. Because if you want to be an NBA star, you need confidence, of course. And he has a lot of it. So I think that that can be a big factor for his production as a player.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and in terms of as a player, do you see him playing at the one position as a point guard, as a shooting guard? What do you think?
I think he can play both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's a good fit for a team that has um, a structure with a point guard who doesn't carry the ball too much. I think that if you pair him with another guard with good three-point shot, they can do a very good one and two combo.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now moving on to the weaknesses. What have you seen of him that could be maybe a red flag in terms of him as a basketball player coming into the draft?
Well, the first one I have is his shot selection.
Mm-hmm.
He can improve his shot selection. You know that the NBA is a different league, and you have very physical players. You also have a lot of players trying to guard the rookies,
Mm-hmm.
and and if you're the first pick, uh, because Lamelo is projected as the first pick, there's a lot of guys who have chips on his shoulder, and they will want to guard Lamelo. So
Mm-hmm.
he needs to improve his shot selection. I also his frame. He's too skinny for the NBA. He needs to bulk without losing agility. His brother Alonso was able to do it, so I think that he should follow the same example. Another weaknesses that I see is his character because he's used to be the spotlight everywhere he
Mm.
goes.
All right, he's the star basically in each team where he has been so far
Yes,
in this room.
exactly. And also because, like you said, his family is very mediatic,
Yeah.
so he's used to cameras. That's not a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
but you know that the NBL is full of stars,
Right.
so he will have to share that spotlight. And also his defense. He has the ability of play good defense,
Mm-hmm.
but he has to put more energy on that side of the floor. So I think that are his weaknesses.
All right, great. Now, in terms of the, if you have to make a comparison with the current NBA player, who do you think Lamelo resembles to?
I think that he plays some sort of like Michael Carter Williams and Sean Livingston,
All right.
but he has better shot than them. So
Mm.
he has more scoring ability than them. So and also because Sean Livingston and Michael Carter Williams they were built in a different NBA era. So
Mm.
Lamelo fits better on this basketball here.
Okay. Okay. Cool. And in terms of now thinking of the draft, which teams do you think will be the best fit for him?
I think that the teams that lacks of all-star caliber players, like the New York Knicks, of course. Everybody's talking about New York Knicks and LaMelo Ball.
Uh huh.
Also, San Antonio Spurs. I think DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, both of their stars, they are getting older. And Orlando Magic, I think Orlando it's been that team that gets to the playoff, but then they cannot come out of the first round. So in that case, I think that Lamelo could be pretty helpful for them also.
All right. Now, let's go into like the more specific questions. As you said it before, he could be projected as the number one overall pick into this draft. Do you think he's worth spending that pick in Lamelo Ball?
Well, if you take into consideration that you have players like Anthony Edwards and Weisman also, if I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, I wouldn't take Lamelo as my
Mm.
first pick.
All right.
And yes, but it's basically because uh, he has a lot of red flags in
Mm.
terms of his shot selection, his character. So I think he's a good player, and he has the opportunity to be a star. But I think that there are more valuable players in this draft
Okay.
than him.
So if you okay now that you're saying that it's not worth to spend the number one pick, which position do you think he should be drafted based on his current abilities, the red flags, you know?
Well, I would be comfortable drafting him around the fifth and the 12th pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I would draft.
All right. So basically, it will be he he's a player that could contribute immediately, but is not the perfect player. He has a lot of things to fix, so he could potentially um, impact immediately in terms of scoring, but he could be a liability in other facets of the game.
Exactly. And I think that if you put him in a good context,
Mm-hmm.
he can shine and he can be a star.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a high possibility that uh, he doesn't shine and
Mm.
he might become a role player.
Okay.
There's
Great.
a high possibility of that too.
Okay. Okay. Great. So, in terms of his ceiling, how good can he become? Let's say everything works out great for him. Do you see him becoming a multiple time All Star, or just it could be a very good player, but maybe not an All Star? What do you think?
I think that he can develop into an all-star, but not a 10 selection all-star player. No, I don't see him like that. I think that he can have one or two all-star
Mm-hmm.
if you put him on the best context, um, but not like an all-star caliber player who's who has like 7 or 8 all-star games. No, I don't see that on him.
Okay, and then like worst case scenario. Let's say these character issues that you're mentioning affect him in the teams where he play. He has problem with his teammates, with the coaches. How low do you think does he have a very low floor, or do you think that with his skills he can be a relevant player?
Well, I think that his floor is a good bench player.
Okay.
Um, I don't think that he will have issues with other players like conflicts and things like that. But I do think that he might take bad decisions
Hmm.
regarding shot selection and some other decisions on the floor. So yeah, but I think that his floor is a good bench player.
A good manipulation. So overall, do you think that he will be a relevant player in the NBA for many years? But in terms of that, he wants to become an all-star or a very good player, he will need to fix a lot of things on his game.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes, you said it.
okay, great. So we know that as a summary, you think that he's not worth a number one pick. Maybe he suits better for like from fifth, sixth overall to the 12th range. I think that could suit him better, at least for now, considering that there are other players that may have a better impact on their teams. And overall, you project him as a very good player, but he needs to fix a lot of things into his game.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
completely.
Great. So, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe to our channel for more analysis and more scouting reports of the new players that will be joining the NBA. And follow us on Twitter for more content like this. All right. So, thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next time.